standing by the stair door, where the rooftop air runs cold. Boss floor glowing through the glass behind the strip of tin and gold. There's an ashtray on the table, just one filter in the tray. Closed briefcase by your ankle, like a promise on its way. I took the earpiece from my collar, so it's just my voice and you. No cameras on this corner, just the hum of what we do. You watch this city breathing like it's ready for your crown, but you don't see the hand that holds it up when it leans down. I started in the hallway, carrying jackets, holding doors, learning every name in silence that slid through marble floors. They laughed at how I never spoke unless a question needed teeth. Never saw me take the measure of the men above my feet. One night the boss said, walk with me, laid a hand upon my arm, let me stand inside his quiet while the rest stayed safe and warm. Said I don't need louder voices, I need someone who can stand. Hear a half-finished sentence and already see the plan. Now his word leaves his mouth, but it never leaves that chair. It rides the elevator down in the buttons that I wear. I'm the quiet right hand standing just outside the frame. When the ink dries on the paper, I'm the shadow on the name. When his promise draws a circle, I'm the one who makes it true. Choose whose shoes walk back to daylight and whose footsteps just fall through. You can chase the throne and spotlight, but remember where I stand. 'Cause power doesn't live up there, it lives in the quiet. Last month in a service hallway by the back freight gate, there was a man who thought a whisper truth could change his fate. He had a folder half unzipped, like a jacket pulled too far. Said I've got enough to scorch him if he doesn't raise my star. I listened while the vent fans pushed the dusty air along. Hands still in my pockets while he tried to sound like strong. Then I pulled that metal door, so it was just his eyes and mine. When he stepped back out again, his signature matched the line. There's a stripe down every street I drive, dividing side from side. Used to be the only border between their world and mine. Now it looks like cracked glass, spreading quiet underway. You can't keep leaning liquor change their brand, and the trail of how it happened will be glowing on my hands. I'm the quiet right hand when the boardroom smiles look kind, when their pens run smooth and steady, 'cause I kept the cracks behind. I can turn a careless secret to a silence that'll last, make tomorrow feel unshaken by the tremor of your past. You can stand beside the throne, boy, but you better understand, if you wanna hold that power, you must be someone's right hand. So decide it on this rooftop before we both walk back inside. Are you built to bear the weight, just to ride along the shine?
Backroom light is buzzing in an office built of stone, folders leaning in the shadows, every secret neatly known. Green lamp spills a tired circle on these numbers black and clean. Out their glasses clink and murmur, here I write what won't be seen. You ask why I'm still working when the night's already bled. I say someone has to total all the things that go unsaid. There was you and your right-hand man, you remember how he moves. He could clear a crowded doorway with one stare, no words to prove. You were always on the front line, he was always at your side. I was always in the back seat, watching where the current slide. When the bosses needed trimming, wanted names without a sound, it was lines across this paper that decided who stayed around. See these figures in the margins, every digit hides a face, every zero, every interest, every cut and every graze. I keep the balance in the dark, where the numbers never sleep. Every favor, every warning, every promise you can't keep. When they weigh your little kingdom against the bones beneath the floor, you will find my quiet hand writing on the back of every door. I'm the one who moves the burden when you think you played your part. I don't pull the trigger, brother, but I keep the balance in the dark. That last year they came in heavy, talked to losses, talked to war, dropped a ledger on the desktop, said they needed less than before. On that sheet your name and his name sat together side by side. I could tilt the tide to save you, let his wrist keep running wide. So I shifted just a fraction, signed the line and closed it up. Next week word came through a payphone, he went down, you just looked up. Now the docks are calm and quiet, and your suits hang straight and right, and you talk like you were born here at the ruling edge of night. If you dream of hands that grabbed you when the walls began to shake, know the spine that never trembled is the one I chose to break. Yeah, I keep the balance in the dark, where the numbers never sleep. Every street you walk in comfort's built on debts I had to keep. When they weigh your clean white collar against the hearts I let depart, you will hear a pen still scratching at the edges of your heart. I'm the one who fixed your future when the world was come apart. I don't swing the blade that finds you bare, but I keep the balance in the dark.
Phone lit up at midnight. Name I know too well. Sure ain't no hesitation. That's a certain kind of bell. Grab the keys off of the counter. Lock, click, quiet on the door. Highway lines like faded veins I've driven down before. Neon from a distant exit, through a tremor on the glass. You said room 12 at the old place. Don't talk, just get here fast. Motel sign buzzing crooked, couple letters halfway dead. Ice machine in the corner, carving out a steady thread. You were sitting on the mattress with your back against a wall, shoes still on, palms turned upward, staring hard at nothing at all. In the bathroom, on the floor, there was more than just a stain. Towels drowning in the sink, where you try to rinse the blame. You don't have to tell the story, I can read it by the room, by the way the curtains twisted, by the smell of bleach and doom. I don't ask you for confession, I don't write down what you do. I just count what needs removing, what still points back to you. I'm the man you call too late, when the shouting's out of breath, when the dust hangs in the light and the air won't let you rest. I walk in without a question, with my gloves and heavy trunk. Turn your shaking into silence, turn your crisis into junk. You can dress it up as ruthless, till the world comes for its death. I'm the man you call too late. I'm the mercy you regret. Later at a lonely station, hard lights over paper cups, trash can by the diesel pumps, night wind trying to stir it up. I dropped the bundle in the barrel, watch the plastic start to curl. Check the mirror on my bumper, like it might show another world. You stood frozen by the vending, eyes on some forgotten brand. I said, this is done, go home. Wipe your prints off of my hand. One night I let it rain, let your name fade off the screen. Leave the trunk out full of nothing, keep my boots a little clean. Watch this highway from a window, like a man who changes lane. See you driving with no number, that could pull you out of flame. But tonight you call too late, and I answer like I do. Turn a raw and shaking story into something far from you. I walk in without a question, take the pieces you can't face, leave you standing in the doorway, like a ghost in your own place. You can think that makes you feel it, while I balance what you break. I'm the man you call too late, and I'm the shadow you can't shake.
Back room light humming over crooked blinds and dust. Metal desk goes safe, stacks of notes I learned to trust. Got this ledger open, pages curl from every storm we ran. Each thin blue line a quiet sentence only I can understand. Door to the bar half open, chairs turned upside down. Neon from the front room flickers, cut stripes through this tired brown. Into this tired brown. You came up with me, carry bags through back doors, watch my back. We split cheap plates and diners, joked about never going back to lack. But you like to roll the dice, swear I just watch the count. You spent credit with loud hands, more than the house could mount. Boss asked me for the truth, said show me who's turning red. I ran my thumb down the column, stopped where your name quietly bled. Funny how it's just ink to
a second when I marked you unstable. I straightened out the page, kept my eyes like stone in this light. Mercy's just a whisper you don't say out loud or own. I keep the lines in the ledger where your fate gets weighed and sold. I'm a steady hand with a pen while the stories turn to gold. From the front door to the back room, every deal runs through my mind. I'm the quiet judge in the margins where your life gets underlined. Bound by with simple numbers, pay the names I won't forget. I write the lines in the ledger, but the ink burns in me yet. They said it was nothing personal, just balance for the weight you threw. They sent someone else to drive you out past where the lights shine through. I stayed here with the books, heard the car fade into the dark, counted cash while the ticket on the wall carved another mark. Now your chair's just an outline in the dust along that wall. Only thing left of your laughter is the gap when the boys make a call. There's a ring you pawned once lying in my bottom drawer, silver door with fingerprints from when we swore we'd want no more. Sometimes I spin it on a desktop, let it circle till it lies. Watching that small circle stagger feels like watching our disguise. I keep the lines in the ledger where a man stands waiting sold. I'm the steady hand with the pen in a world that runs on cold. From the front door to the back room, every secret runs through me. I'm the quiet judge in the margins where you're safe for history. Powered by with simple numbers, paid in ghosts that never quit. I write the lines in the ledger and I'll carry every bit. Motel key on the nightstand, plastic tag with a faded night. Thin curtains bleed their diner sign, red letters out of line. Phone face down on the pillow, your name one thumb away. Boots still by the door frame, dust from someone else's day. I rinse my hands in lukewarm water till the drain runs clear and slow. Tell myself it's only business, but we both know that's not so. Ice machine in the hallway, coughing through the quiet air. Highway hum behind the wall says I don't belong back there. I spread a map on a small list I won't risk with you. Circle all the exits where our worlds can't bleed straight through. Your number on a receipt from a lonely pump and pay, folded in my pocket like a prayer I'm not allowed to say. You don't see the things I wipe away, so your hands can stay there clean. I live out here between the lines, in the spaces no one sees. You're the number I don't dial when the job's still on my skin. You're the name I keep in daylight, where the dark can't crawl back in. I could let your voice come flooding, wash this motel from my eyes, but a man like me stays silent when it means to keep you alive. You're the number I don't dial, that's the sharpest cut of my coat. I keep loving you in quiet on this never-ending road. Coffee in a paper cup, cooling on a window ledge. Steam on cracked glass, drawing ghosts along the edge. Duffel by the dresser, zipper fighting what I hide. Shirt rolled by the sink to cover stains I never let outside. I watch the screen light up my face with your letters on the glass. Thumb hovering like a coin, I just refuse to let decast. I could tell you what I handle, but you never see it right. Just a stranger in his shadows, dragging storms into your light. So I leave you all your mornings, I keep all my nights alone. Clean their mess and keep their secrets, never bring them back home. If I ever try to call you while the dark's still in my hands, I hope I hear my own voice first, reminding me the plan. You're the number I don't dial when the road dust's in my veins. You're the face I save for sunrise, far from backroom beds and stains. I could let that ringtone cut through every line I built in stone. But a man who wants to shield you doesn't drag you through his own. You're the number I don't dial, though it pulls me like a wire. And if I ever reach for you, it'll be after I retire. calm, running dusty. Seatbacks lined like quiet soldiers, overhead light pale and real. Ticket folded in, not tangled, never sealed. Duffel bag in my knee. All I took is all I own. Station clock was almost midnight when I stepped onto this car. Left that platform like a secret, sliding out between the bars. Her mug still on the counter, ring marking the wooden grain. Kitchen clock was ticking louder than the voices on the game. I wrote a few cold sentences, then I tore them into dust. Girl, I love you, but this lifetime's built on the shadows you can't trust. Left the pen beside the napkin, left the chair turned halfway round. Closed the door without a rattle, took my silence out of town. I'm not running from the fire, I'm the one that used to light it. But I won't drag her through the smoke, just to prove that I can fight it. So I bought a ticket with no return, paid in cash for every secret that I helped this city burn. I'm not begging for forgiveness, I'm not asking to be new. I just keep her out of crosshairs by not tying her to what I do. You can call it abandonment, you can call it letting go. I just call it leaving quietly with more cold than most men know. Saw my face inside the window, half a ghost and half in black. All the things I built in silence look much smaller from these tracks. Every ledger, every handshake, every night that bought my name feels like cards on bent up cardboard in a worn-out gambler's game. Out here, I'm just boots and fabric, heartbeat and a steady stare. Still the same man, just decided where my feet won't stand and where. There's a letter I'm not sending, there's a doorway I won't cross. If I stay, she learns the grammar of this quiet, smiling loss. Better she remembers laughter in that kitchen, soft and warm, than my eyes all full of weather from too many coming storms. So I write this ticket with no return. Let the rails erase the outlines of the things I used to earn. I don't run like frightened children, I choose exits, I choose roads. I keep stepping off the map line when it's time to change my rules. You can curse the way I vanish, you can say I left her torn, but I leave with spine unbroken on this ticket with no return. black room light is green, humming over columns in a row. Ledger open on the table, every name a dead I know. Safe door breathing in the corner, metal jar that never speaks, ink still shining on the pages from the work we did this week. You pour me something dark and quiet, slide it down with steady hands. Floor is scarred from chairs and footsteps, deals and worn out wedding bands. I don't come here for confession, but tonight I bend that rule, 'cause there's one line in these figures that turn me from sharp to cruel. He was with me from the sidewalks, from the days we split one coat. Shared a lighter, shared a doorway, shared a half-remembered note. We were boys with empty pockets, till the walls turned soft to steel. We climbed ladders made of favors, learned which pressure points to feel. Last month someone brought a problem with his name underlined twice. Talked his temper, talked his habits, said he'd rolled the wrong kind of dice. I just waited in the margins, drew a circle round his file, closed the cover, signed the paper, nodded once and held my smile. On the side of the table, it's just symbols black on white. Out there one simple check mark means someone won't see the night. There's blood in the ledger, but my hands look clean. Every stroke of this ink cuts deeper than it seems. I balance the columns, keep the house in line, count the losses like numbers, call it cost instead of crime. I sit in the quiet where the big men really tread. There's blood in the ledger, and it's written in my head. Now his chair stays bare and waiting at the corner of the bar. Same old hook above the counter where he'd hang his fraying scarf. You still wipe that patch by habit, like you're waiting for his boots. But his tab got stamped completed with a handshake and a suit. Boss still sends the envelopes, pen still scratch and sign on cue. I still total every evening, pass the folder back to you. On the surface nothing's broken, books all match, the cash all fits. But there's one line carved like gravel I can't smooth out of this list. Men like me don't swing the hammers, we just mark where they should land. Move a comma, change a total, that's enough to close a hand. You can call it order business, any word that helps it pass. But I still see my oldest brother in that thin black line of ink and glass. There's blood in the ledger, though the floor stays dry. Every silent little signature seldom spreads. There's blood in the ledger, and it's living in my head. Then curtains buzz with a red sign outside. Ice machine humming like a heart I used to hide. Fantastic cups by the sink, one cold ring from old coffee. Duffel by the door like it's been listening to me. Room number printed on a tag, chipped on one edge. Map folded on the nightstand like a quiet little pledge. There's a phone on the table that I'm not about to use. It's got a page of words for you that I'll never let you choose. You said one day just stop, let the road roll past your door. But my work lives out on asphalt, not in living room floors. I've carried other people's trouble in the trunk, and in my head left a trail of quiet faves where their fear would have bled. You saw something underneath the lines along my eyes, thought there was a softer man behind this practiced disguise. But there's markers in my memory that's the lean on where I stand, and faces in these stations that still know my steady hand. So I put it in this letter in a language you won't read. The only honest act I've got is which road you never need. I leave the key on the nightstand like a small confession cast. Walk out past the humming eyes while the headlights whisper past. If I stay, this lot and bleach out all the stains. Housekeeping with a car will roll right through my remains. They'll strip the sheets, flip the mattress, never know my name, just another moving piece that the highway never claimed. You might pass this place someday with someone not like me. Drive on by and never feel what this room tried to be. That's the best I've got to offer. You forget this number sound while I keep rolling forward where my choices track me down. You wanted slower tables, steady clocks and softer days, but I was cut from backseat promises and unlit highway ways. Don't forgive me 'cause I left, don't forgive me if I stay. So I take the weight and go, keep the bill from where you lay. So I leave the key on the nightstand, let it cool against the wood. Step into the blue-black parking lot, leaving more than what I should if I stayed. This life would mark you, write you into what I owe. So I'll move out like a rumor, only empty roads will know. I'm not asking for your blessing, I'm just walking like I swore. Key on the nightstand, and my hand already on the door.
Second class compartment, yellow numbers on the door, paper ticket in my pocket, shoes flat on the floor, suitcase by my ankle with a tag I didn't write, window full of platform lamps dissolving into night, coffee cooling quietly on the fold-out metal tray. Pen keeps drawing circles round the words I will not say. Your name sits in the corner of this page I never send. Every station that we pass feels like another almost end. You met me in a corner booth where no one saw me smile. Said my eyes look like a man who's done his time without a trial. You were right about the numbers I kept hidden in my head. Every favor, every warning, every time I walked instead. I kept choosing one more meeting, one more knock behind the door, telling you I'd come just straightened up my collar, kissed the question off my face. Said, a man like you don't run, you only leave when you say erase. Now the city's just a shadow on the glass behind my seat. All the things I didn't tell you, riding quiet through my feet. I'm the man on the last train out, not a dog that lost the chase. I decide which night I vanish, I decide when I leave that place. Every mile is one more sentence in a story I rewrote. Every light along this railway brand's a promise that I broke. If you wake and feel me missing, like a hand without its vein, just remember I walked out by my own code on this last train. Countryside comes by in fragments, little houses, sleeping fields, faint reflections in the window show a face that never yields. I can see you in the glass there, half a ghost behind my eyes. All the mornings in your kitchen, all the don't ask where replies. I got numbers in my memory and a phone I will not touch, names that never hit the paper, debts I paid a little much. There's a folded photocola between the lining of my coat. You're still leaning on my shoulder, trusting fingers at my throat. If they tell you that I ran, say he walked and he walked slow. He was done with saving cowards from the fires they let grow. He was tired of being summoned just to tidy up the end. So he chose a moving cage and made the darkness his last friend. If you ever find this a letter that I'm scared to let you see, know I left a life behind me, so it couldn't take you with me. I'm the man on the last train out, not a shadow on the run. I'm the one who closed the notebook, not the one who dropped the gun. Every mile's another handshake with the things I can't explain. Every town that sinks behind me rinses something from my name. If you stand beside your window and you listen through the rain, you might hear a distant engine carry off the weight of my stain. When you think about the danger that once slept inside your room,
You're sitting in my office with the city on the glass. Shoes still too clean, talking like this life moves fast. You watch the doors downstairs, think that's where the power sits, where the men in dark cut jackets hand out glory with their fists. But all those voices on the staircase, all those names you wanna know, end up being between these pages where the real numbers go. There's a lamp with a green shade, there's a safe behind my chair. There's a column for your winnings, there's a column for your share. Every shortcut that you're chasing, every secret that you hide, every time you bend the order, it gets written on my side. You think favors fade like echoes, that the street forgets you're dead, but my fountain pen remembers every promise that you made. I don't shout across the table, I don't have to raise my tone, I just shift a line of figures and you never eat alone. I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. Every borrowed piece of thunder, every night you run the show. When the talking's finally over and the light turns low and low, it's the ledger on my desk that says who stays and who must go. You can stack your little stories on the names you think you know, but I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. This folded little marker with a date beside your name, that's the night you cut a corner, left your brother with the blame. See this note about a driver who stayed quiet, took the fall. He's been paying with his silence, I've been watching through it all. When you think no one is looking and you cross another line, it just adds another shadow to the sun that isn't mine. Oh, You call it easy money, I call it years you haven't paid. You call it just one favor, I call it how a man is weighed. When the lights are down to embers and your luck runs out of tricks, you will find me at this desk, choosing where the balance sticks. I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe. Every hurried, hungry handshake, every underpriced hello. When the circle starts to tighten and the loud ones move too slow, it's the totals in my ledger that decide who leaves the show. You can chase your paper kingdom, you can dress it up and glow, but I don't pull the trigger, I just balance what you owe.
decide who leaves the show. They decide who leaves the show.
Last call on the platform speaker, metal echo down the line, fluorescent halo on the timetable, numbers bleeding into time. There's a folded ticket in my fist, one name printed black and plain, just a duffel by my ankle, just a steel throw rolling train. Benches empty, vending humming, paper cup beside the bin. I step over all my footprints and I don't look back again. Carriage door sides shut behind me, rubber seals around the past. Dirty window holds the skyline like a secret fading fast. There's a seat with torn up vinyl, there's a handle by the pan, there's a hook where your old sweater used to hang inside my brain. Phone is heavy in my pocket, every number turned to stone. I could call you for forgiveness, but I'd rather stand alone. I have never cracked in back rooms, never talked when steel was near, kept my promises in silence, kept my monsters in the rear. Leaving isn't running, crying, it's a different kind of fight. It's a man who knows he's deadly, choosing distance over sight. My name's on a one-way ticket, out of everything I build. Rails below me carry secrets, carry money, carry guilt. I'm not begging any mercy, I'm just changing where I stand. Same hard code in different stations, same slow power in my hands. If this train keeps cutting miles between my footsteps and that street, then the life that used to own me won't decide how we two meet. I remember backroom tables, folding bills with quiet grace. Other men were loud and careless, I just memorized each face. You once traced the lines beside my eyes and asked what they had seen. I said nothing worth repeating, though they played their in-between. Now these ceiling lights are swaying like a slow and steady oars. I can't keep you in that empire, so I choose to lose them both.
If you wake and feel the distance like a hand across your chest, no, I didn't choose a stranger, I chose safety for your rest. I can swallow every memory, ride this dark without a spark. Better I stay just a rumor than the fire that leaves a mark. My name's on a one-way ticket, not a prayer and not a plea, just a man who stays a weapon, stepping off your daily scene. I'm not running from the danger, I'm just changing where I stand. Same hard code and different shadows, same slow power in my hands. When this train slides past the border of the place we used to claim, you'll be sleeping through the silence, and I'll carry out my name. Desk lamp throws a circle on these papers in a row. Steel safe in the corner hums like it already knows. You walk in with fast footsteps, collar sharp, eyes running hot. Think you're ready for the staircase to a colder, higher spot. Screens along the wall are showing doorways, lifts and gates, empty halls and parked up metal, all the places power awaits. I slide a file across a desktop, tap a finger on your name, say sit down, don't touch the handle, this is not a street side game. Every number on this ledger has a face behind the ink. Every zero, every comma is a name that couldn't blink. You just see the final figure, not the cost and sleep and skin, and all the quiet little midnights spent to hold the ceiling in. You think loud men run this city, think that noise will get your crown. I've watched fireworks in stairwells burn, then drop without a sound. Real chiefs leave no fingerprints on the doors that never lock. They just tighten little hinges while the rest of you throw rocks. You're standing at a crossing where the street lights never change. You can rush it for the glory, or you learn to move in range. I keep the balance after midnight, make sure the walls still stand by dawn. Oh, I weigh the debts you don't see coming, paying favors time and bone. You wanna walk like you're untouchable, claim the lights like you're their owner. But if you can't read these quiet numbers, you'll be listed as a donor. There's a folder in this drawer with a face that looked like yours. Try to skip the small conditions, kick too early at the doors. He went heavy on the engine, light on checking where it lands. Never saw the floor was missing underneath his brand new plans. Now his name's a tiny scribble in the margin of a page, crossed with lines that mean resolve, in one short note that reads to break. I don't tell you this to scare you, kid, I'm long past needing sport. I just show you where the math ends when you gamble with the court. I don't shout into the alley, I don't flash a swollen road, I don't bargain what I can't protect with steel around the soul. I move pieces on a table where the board is seldom seen, keep the doors from ever closing on the hand that feeds the scheme. I keep the balance after midnight, quiet hand on every string, cut the noise down to a whisper, let the steady number sing. You can flare out like a signal bright, or be the last one standing strong. Learn to live inside the margins, boy, or the city writes you gone.
Last train humming at the platform, yellow letters on the board, vending machine in the corner, spitting silver when it's bored. My ticket folded in my wallet, my name written in small, one suitcase by my boots and one number I won't call. These tracks remember every whisper that I carried for this town. Now I'm standing by the carriage while the signals flicker down. This city taught me how to listen when the doors were barely cracked, how to walk through quiet hallways with a favor at my back. I knew which stair would never creak and which hand to never shake. I could move a man from daylight with one well-positioned break. Every corner knew my footsteps, every back room knew my face. Now I'm trading all that gravity for one narrow second-class space. I don't run from what I've done here, I don't beg for any grace, I just choose my moving exits while the memories keep their place. I paid my fare in shadows long before I heard this train, bought this seat with all the secrets stitched in steel and window pane. I leave this city standing, but it won't forget my pocket, and this distance like a flame. Neon clock above the doorway, second-hand that never sleeps. Station bench with peeling edges, scattered flyers in a heap. Through the glass I watch the towers getting smaller, losing teeth. Every light another promise that I buried underneath. There'll be younger hands to hold it, there'll be voices in my place, but they'll study how I vanished when they whisper about this face. I won't trade my spine for mercy, I won't sell my name for peace. I just balance out the ledger, let the noise behind me cease. If you're listening from the concrete while these wheels divide the night, know I left without a stumble, every step a chosen fight. I paid my fare in shadows long before I heard this train. Bought this seat with all the whispers pressed in iron, glass and grain. I leave this city breathing, but it won't forget my name. I paid my fare in shadows, now I'm fading out of frame. I'm the legend in your corners, even as I break the chain, with my silence as a compass and these rails under my veins.
Drop down in the leather with the city on your coat, gunpowder on your knuckles, someone's name stuck in your throat. I pull the blinds and tighter, let the desk lamp draw a ring, slide a fold across the oak like it's just another thing. There's a chessboard by the window with a king half off his square, and a wall safe set in walnut that's been listening from back there. You think tonight was finished when you heard that engine fade, but power ain't the muzzle, kid, it's how the paper's laid. There's a file in this drawer with a judge who's keeping score. There's a phone that only reaches hands that owe me something more. I can turn a loaded charge into a fine they barely feel, or stack it like a staircase till it breaks a man for real. They sold you law as iron, straight as columns down the hall. I've watched it twist like wiring when the right name makes the call. You keep counting spent cases in the bruises and the fear. I keep counting who walks out when the smoke has left the year. I keep a leash on the law, pull it tight when the night gets loud, while you're out there in the headlights trying to calm a restless crowd. You see badges in a doorway, think they're coming just to bite. I know which ones heal and follow when I whisper in the night. Yeah, I keep a leash on the law, make it sit, make it fetch, make it stall. You swing the hand that closes, I decide who hits the wall. One day you'll wake at midnight with no engine in your ears, just a tower full of case files and a list of disappeared. You'll remember every corridor where we let a page go thin, every name we turned to numbers with a signature engraved. That's the point you'll feel this office tilt a little to one side when the weight of all that quiet starts to press in from the file side. I watch straight edge boys go righteous and get buried by the game. Watch the worst man in this district toast to order in my name. I don't dress it up as mercy, don't pretend this floor is clean. I just move the pieces careful so the doors we need stay green. And if sometimes in the window I see faces by my hand, they're the cost of every margin that still lets you walk this land. So I keep a leash on the law when the ground starts to slide, when the headlines need a villain and the bosses need a guide. You can count your wins in bodies, you can brag how many fall, but the list of who gets pardoned runs straight through this paneled wall. Yeah, I keep a leash on the law, walk these cases like a dog. I'm the calm behind the curtains while this city signs the law.
Blinds cut the city into stripes. Across his desk a wooden glass. Lamp throws a circle on the ledger where the names and numbers pass. Safe door sleeps behind me. Heavy metal in the wall. On the shelf a row of folders. Every favor, every call. Chessboard on the side table, king laid over its side. Screen glow on the cabinet, little dots for those who hide. One clean glass beside a notebook, keys and heavy fountain pen. You keep asking how it happened when we lost another friend. He was sitting where you're standing, same quick tapping in his shoe. Talking like the air was thinner, like the room was cutting through. Said he only moved a little, took a shaving off the tape. Thought the house was built so solid, I just smile and let it break. But the columns didn't balance, something twisted in the grain. When the total started bleeding, all that brotherhood was pain. So I shifted 3 small figures, wrote a date beside his name. He walked out with all his swagger, but he never walked back sane. Paper doesn't listen to the stories in your eyes. Lines don't bend for pretty words, totals never sympathize. 'Cause the ink never lies when the numbers turn red. I keep the empire in columns and the ghost in my head. I don't shout, I don't threaten, I just straighten the page. And a man fades quietly like a line from the wage. You can swear on your honor, you can bleed, you can cry, but the pen in my hand is the reason who dies. If you move with this code, you outlast their alibis. If you don't, you get swallowed by the ink that never lies. Ooh. You've been playing with the margins, little favors off the books, thinking no one sees the pattern in the way the ledger looks. There's a suitcase by the filing, there's a file without a tab. There's a name that keeps repeating when I run the nightly tap. I remember when we started, 2 steel knots and shaking hands. Swore we'd never cross each other, swore we'd never move like sand. Now I catch your shadow flicker when the elevator sings. Hear you laughing in the hallway with the men who sell their kings. Trust is just a balance sheet with memories as gold. Debt becomes a sentence when the numbers run too bold. Power is a quiet room where one man has the pen. Sleep is what you sacrifice to live with what you've penned. So remember the ink when you look in my face. I don't bargain with panic, I don't traffic in disgrace. I keep my voice low and steady while the totals align. And the fate of every coward is a thin black line. You can tell me you're loyal, you can swear you're on my side, but the truth lives in ledgers you can't run from or hide. Walk straight like a gentleman, you'll learn how silence cries on a cold white page under ink that never lies.
Short breathing idle by the railing near the stones. Radio light blinking like a pulse in tired bones. I kill the engine, pocket keys, let the night take back its sound. Boot soles on the river path, no one else is walking round. Badge tucked in my jacket, not shining like it did. Still heavy on my chest from every favor that I slid. There's an evidence box half empty on the back seat in the dark. One missing little notebook, one blurred camera mark. In my glove compartment there's a file that never hit the floor. Names and quiet numbers, folded bills that bought me more. I've dragged real monsters cuffed and breathing through the hallways humming lights. And I've let some devils drive off clean because they fed me bigger fights. Long paper draws a straight line. Streets don't ever run that way. So I learned to bend the middle, keep the wolves where I can play. There's a shadow on my badge, but it's mine to own. I still walk this city like I carved it out in stone. I'm the one that hears the sirens and decides what they will mean. I can turn a guilty whisper into something almost clean. You can call me what you want, from your window or your page. There's a shadow on my badge, but I'm still the one with the cage. Underneath this old stone bridge I met rats in tailored suits. Traded names for softer handcuffs, pulled their secrets up by roots. I've watched river water swallow what the reports don't ever show. Cold and patient like a ledger that remembers where you go. Every time I look down there, I see all the almost falls. Every time I walk back up, I still answer when it calls. I don't beg for any pardon, I don't hide from what I've done. I can count the lines I crossed, I remember everyone. If this city turns against me, I got roads they never traced. I'll be gone before the morning, leave my badge, not any trace. There's a shadow on my badge, but it fits my face. I still wear it like a warning in this crooked little place. I'm the hinge between the courtroom and the street that never sleeps. I can drown a quiet secret or drag truth up from the deep. You can judge me from a distance, you can curse me from the stage. There's a shadow on my badge, but I'm still the one with the cage.
Soft light on the ledger, one lamp over my hands, columns full of quiet stories nobody understands. There's a half-warm glass of water by the corner of the sheet, wall clock on the woodwork, second hand that never sleeps. Safe door hums behind me, guarding things we never named. I sit here in this office while you work the miles of street. You knock and never enter till I buzz you through the door. You bring the night's collection, every bill and every score. I glance at scraped up knuckles as you drop the folded roll. I count without a tremor, mark the margin, keep control. You think the ones who pay us are the ones who fear us most, but the names that miss my columns are the ones that turn to ghosts. Money moves like a rug down these figures, down these roads. Every fave, every warning has a cost that no one shows. Every debt has a shadow, and I ride who takes the fall. From this high and quiet office, far above your backroom brawl, I'm the calm inside your chaos, I'm the pause before you run. I keep the balance steady, and I live with what I've done. Songs we did last winter still burn bright behind my eyes, like the night we trimmed a number and a man slipped through the lines. I remember how you started, just a kid with sharpened pride. Now your name sits near the red ink on the margin by my side. If you think this game is endless, take a look at how it ends. Every face along this letterhead was once one of my friends. One more call, one more favor, one more file to disappear, one more courier in the lobby, brushing city dust from cold. Listen close before you walk out, hear me clearer than before. If you live by what I balance, you get filed inside this door. Every debt has a shadow, and I ride who takes the fall. From this quiet glass-walled office, staring down this endless sprawl, I'm the calm inside your chaos, I'm the hand that never shakes, but I walk away in silence before they total my mistakes. Yeah, every debt has a shadow, and tonight I'm warning you. Either learn to count the cost, or the cost comes counting you.
Coffee cooling in a white cup. Taking seconds on my cup. Motel key against my thigh, hanging low from a plastic ring. Map folded in my jacket. Every road I go on out. You're asleep 2 doors down, in a room I paid in cash. Curtains drawn against the darkness. Suitcase sipped and ready stash. I'm not built for long goodbye. Never have been, never will. So I'm sitting with this silence till my heartbeat learns to chill. You met me by the back door while I counted rolled up notes. You were humming over dishes. Steam was rising off your coat. We split tips and quiet glances in that hallway by the sink. You could taste there's something heavy every time I wouldn't drink. Then my name got tied to favors on a chain of quiet calls. I kept my boots on oil and asphalt while you painted softer walls. You kept asking where I vanished when the air turned sharp and wrong. I kept saying I'm just working, knowing that won't hold for long. Out here every highway exit is a line you cross, so keep either ride it till it breaks you or step off before it's deep. I don't run, I lead with my shoulders straight. When the game turns crooked and the odds feel late, I don't beg, don't plead, I just change my speed. Take the last road out with the things I need. I won't let this life come crashing through your sleep. I don't run from this, no. I don't run, I leave. Ignition key is in my pocket, gas receipt inside my palm. Old motel ice machine humming, parking lot pretending calm. I wrote 4 lines on hotel paper, left them folded by your shoes. Didn't say the half I wanted, only what you need to use. Told you, lock the door at sunrise, change the number in your phone. If they ever ask about me, tell them you walked out alone. Tail lights wait like red decisions at the edge of gravel light. Once I turn to the highway, I'm a story out of sight. Men like me don't get to keep both your heart and what we do. So I'm taking all my trouble Desk lamp on the corner throws a circle in the wood. Blind slice up the city into stripes of bad and good. Ledger open in the middle, pages thick with ink and years. Safe door sitting just off center from a couple heavy fears. You're leaning in the doorway with your tie still hanging loose. Fresh cufflinks catching light like they're waiting for the use. A motion to the chair across, slide one empty glass away. Say before your name goes in here, listen close to how we pay. I started counting for a man who never spoke above a hum. Sat me at a smaller desk, asked me where the numbers run. Said every favor, every secret, every quiet little cut has to land inside these columns, or the door stops staying shut. So I learned to write in margins what the contracts couldn't say. Put a circle by a name when a debt came due one day. When somebody wanted mercy, I would underline it twice. But I always kept a record of who cleared and who rolled dice. You think power's in the shout, in the pistol by the bed, but the real way lives in letters and the lines above a head. I'm the man behind the ledger, where the real crowns sit, where the numbers draw the borders and decide who seems to fit. I can balance out a promise, make a kingdom look like clean, turn a lifetime into figures no one else has really seen. You can stand inside the spotlight, let them cheer the one they measure, but the city moves for ink strokes from the man behind the ledger. Last week on this same desktop, there were 3 small folded cards. Each one held a different name that had walked through different yards. One had bought his way to distance, one had stayed and proved his spine. One had talked when doors were closed and tried to redraw my line. I didn't raise my voice to choose, just tapped a single page, drew a slow straight mark through one man's name and cooled the quiet rage. Closed the book and spun the tumbler till the safe door met the frame. Then I watched the elevator blink and carried down a name. If this ledger hits the floor with no one here who understands, these lines will turn to weapons in some colder stranger's hands. They won't see the quiet reasons why a circle had to stay. They'll just count up what they're given and spend it the wrong way. That's why I don't fear the bosses half as much as I fear you. If you take this chair too early and don't grasp what it can do, I'm the man behind the ledger, but this book won't end with me. Every page you think is paper is a piece of what will be. I can build a silent empire out of columns, names, and codes. Make the streets look almost peaceful while I reroute every load. You can wear the sharper suit, kid, let them think you're just a dresser. But if you wanna hold this office, learn the man behind the ledger. shining on this glass and polished grain, long after we are footnotes in the ink that holds our name.